Today we'll be working in my workbook called Samuel from Child to Leader of Israel. This workbook covers 1 Samuel chapters 1 through 7. Looking at the table of contents, we've already completed the first 6 chapters. And basically, we started off with Hannah's answer to prayer. Gonna get something from my voice. Hannah's answer to prayer, and that is she was barren. And so she went to Shiloh and she prayed in front of Eli the priest, and she prayed for a son, and she promised to dedicate him to the Lord. And so she does indeed have a son in chapter 2, and she does indeed follow through. She brings him to Shiloh after he's weaned and he is being raised by Eli. Now in chapter 3, we have Samuel compared to the sons of Eli. Sons of Eli are priests and they're scoundrels, whereas Samuel is being raised up in a good manner, and he's good, especially compared to the scoundrels. Then in chapter 4, perhaps when Samuel's 8 or whatever, he gets a call from God. Now, Eli doesn't realize that that's happening for a little while, so this is repeated and repeated because a call from God hasn't happened to anybody for a very, very long time. So then Samuel finally understands it is God calling. He listens, and God tells him that Eli's sons will be killed on the same day because there've been so much scoundrels. This must have happened a little later in Samuel's life, because once they're dead, he's the next priest. So he has to be of a certain age, I would think. Maybe older than 8, we will see. Either that or the next story, which tells of it, happens much later. We don't know the time preference here. But now we get into where they are fighting. Israelites are fighting against the Philistines, and they aren't successful. Philistines win. So they decide they're going to bring the Ark of God in their battle, because in the past battles, the Ark of God allowed them to win. But that's how they thought. Really, it's their relationship with God symbolized by the Ark. They had no relationship with God, so the Ark didn't symbolize that relationship. So when it goes in, it is captured by the Philistines. And during that battle, Hophni and Phinehas, Eli's sons, die. A Benjamite comes running back to Shiloh, telling them how the war ended, which was a defeat for the Israelites, and the fact that the ark is captured, and tells Eli that his 2 sons have been killed. Eli then falls back and hits his head and also dies. So in one day we lose, or basically one day, we lose 3 of the priests. And we don't know if there's any priests from then to Samuel, but we lose 3 priests at that point, the 3 main priests. Now in chapter 6, just because the Philistines have the ark, which is a symbolic representation of the Hebrew God, doesn't mean they don't have trouble with the ark. They put it in their temple for Dagon, their god, and the statue of Dagon falls and gets broken in front of the Ark of the Covenant. So they move it to another city in Philistines, who then get boils, and they move it to another city of Philistines where they also have problems. So now we're in chapter 7. The ark is returned. Samuel 6, 1 through 7, 2. 1 Samuel 6, chapter 6, verse 1 through chapter 7, verse 2. When the ark of the Lord had been in the Philistine territory 7 months, The Philistines called for the priests and the diviners and said, "What shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us how we can send it back to its place, because it's causing so much grief in the Philistine cities." How long had the ark of the Lord been in the territory of the Philistines? 7 months. Where is its location now? Probably Gath. Let me look real quick. Ekron. Ekron. Okay. Ekron. What has God caused to happen in all the Philistine cities that the ark of the Lord stayed in? Boils, inflictions, these things. Who did the rulers of the Philistines call to find out how to return the ark? The priests and diviners. Diviners are foretellers of the future. They answered, "If you return the ark of God to Israel, do not send it back to him without a gift. By all means, send a guilt offering to him. Then you will be healed and you will know why his hand has not been lifted from you." Who is speaking? The diviners and the priests. They gave another name for the gift to be sent. What is it? A guilt offering. What are the two reasons why the priests and diviners say the Philistines need to send a guilt offering? That they will be healed and he will know why his hand has not been lifted from you. What would they be healed from? The boils and the sores and the various things that are happening. The Philistines asked, "What guilt offering should we send to them?" They replied, 5 gold tumors and 5 gold rats, according to the number of the Philistine rulers, because the same plague has struck both you and your rulers. Make models of the tumors and the rats that are destroying the country and give glory to Israel's gods. Perhaps he will lift his hand from you and your gods and your land. Why do you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh did? When Israel's God dealt harshly with them, did they not send the Israelites out so they could go on their way? How many rulers had the plague of tumors struck? 5. Note, we know of only 3 cities of Philistia, therefore 3 rulers, that were struck with the plagues of tumors, but there were 2 more. Future scripture will tell us they are the cities of Gaza and Ashkelon. These are situated just below Ashdod before the road turns east to Gath. What were the Philistines to make? 1 of each per ruler. A gold model of a tumor and a gold model of a rat. We know of the tumors. Apparently, God used the rats to spread the disease. Perhaps he will lift his hand from you and your gods and your land. What story of the Israelite history does the priests and the diviners know and warn the Philistines about? How they were Israelites were able to leave Egypt and all the things that happened to Egypt. That story has gone all over the land. The scripture continues. Now then, get a new cart ready with 2 cows that have calved and have never been yoked. Hitch the cows to the cart and take their calves away and pen them up. Take the ark of the Lord and put it on the cart, and in a chest beside it put the gold objects you are sending back to him as a guilt offering. What kind of cart should they get? A new cart. The cows that were going to be used have 2 special qualities. What are they? They have calved. Excuse me. Boy, my voice is not helping today. They have calved and they have never been yoked. If the cows have never been yoked before, they are yoked in this picture for this event. Does that mean they probably have never been used to hauling anything? Why use this type of cow? Because if God is with it, he will control the cows. Taking their calves away and penning up the calves was going to make this a test, as we will see on the following page. What is everything that will be on the cart? the Ark of the Covenant and and a chest of gold objects. How fast do you think the Philistines complied with this order from their priests and diviners? As fast as they can get them made. Send it on its way, but keep watching it. If it goes up to its own territory towards Beth Shemesh, then the Lord has brought this great disaster on us. But if it does not, then we will know it was not his hand that struck us, but that it happened to us by chance. The cows and the cart have two ways to go. One way went into its own territory. The other way would not be the territory of the Philistines, but of whom? The Israelites. The first town in this territory was the town of Beth Shemesh. If the cows bring the cart toward Beth Shemesh, then what could the Philistines conclude? That the Lord had brought the disaster upon them, that is, the Hebrew God. Note this would be contrary to the desire of the cows, as they would want to go back to their calves. So if they did go toward Beth Shemesh, then the God of Israel is directing it. If the cows did not go toward Beth Shemesh, then what was the conclusion? That God was not the one causing all the problems. So they did this. They took two such cows and hitched them to the cart and penned up their calves. They placed the ark of the Lord on the cart and along with the chest containing the gold rats and the models of the tumors. Then the cows went straight up toward Beth Shemesh, keeping on the road and lowing all the way. They did not turn right or left. The rulers of the Philistines followed them as far as the border of Beth Shemesh. What town did the cows head toward? Beth Shemesh. How far did the rulers of the Philistines follow the cows? To the border. Put an E above the lined arrows from Ekron to Beth Shemesh. Okay, I can do that. Outline the territory of Philistia. Is Beth Shemesh in the land of Philistia? No, it's in Israel land. It knows here, Philistia is, whoops, whoa, didn't mean to do that, is this outline in green. Approximately how many miles is it from Ekron to Beth Shemesh? So I would say maybe 10 miles, 7 miles, something like that, based on this. Circle where the original battle was on the map. The original battle was up here. Circle where the tabernacle is located on the map. Okay, the tabernacle is in Shiloh. We discovered that the map is a little wrong from Ashdod to Gath. Place two black dots just below Ashdod and name them Ashkelon and Gaza. Make a new line from Ashdod through the cities to Gath. Well, I won't do that in detail, but the two cities are right in here, and that we know that the ark went to before it went to Gath. What could the Philistines conclude from the cow's travel? That God is directing it, and God was the one that caused the tumors. Now the people of Beth Shemesh were harvesting their wheat in the valley, and when they looked up and saw the ark, they rejoiced at the sight. What were the Israelites of Beth Shemesh doing when they saw the ark of God coming to them? They were harvesting their wheat. How long had the ark of the covenant been away from the Israelites? I believe it said in the first part of this chapter, 7 months. 7 months. On that day, the people of Beth Shemesh offered burnt offerings and made sacrifices to the Lord. The 5 rulers of the Philistines followed this and then returned that same day to Ekron. These are the gold tumors the Philistines sent as a guilt offering to the Lord, one each for Ashdod, Gaza, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. And the number of gold rats were according to the number of Philistine towns belonging to the 5 rulers. the fortified towns with their country villages. The large rock on which the Levites set the ark of the Lord is a witness to this day in the field of Joshua of Beth Shemesh. But God struck down some of the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh, putting 70 of them to death because they looked into the ark of the Lord. The people mourned because of the heavy blow the Lord had dealt them, and the people of Beth Shemesh asked, "Who can stand in the presence of the Lord, this holy God? To whom will the ark go up from here?" How many people of Beth Shemesh did God kill? 70. Why did God kill them? Because they opened the ark and looked inside. Did the people of Beth Shemesh want the ark to stay in their town? No. If you were an inhabitant of Beth Shemesh, would you be excited to see the ark return or scared that it's in your town? Uh, why? I would say both. Excited at first, scared when it kills people, and that it's an awesome item that's too hard to handle. Then they sent messages to the people of Kiriath Jearim, saying, "The Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to your town." So let's see if you can answer the questions below based on the map. Where was the battle between Israelites and the Philistines where the ark was captured by the Philistines? Up here in Aphek and Ebenezer. Why did the Israelites bring the ark from Shiloh to Ebenezer? Because they were losing the battle and they figured having the ark in the battle would help. What happened in Ashdod, Gath, and Ekron when the Ark of the Covenant was there? The people ended up with sores and boils and these things. Where is the tabernacle located? In Shiloh. What does the lined arrow show the path of? Path of the Ark of the Covenant. The two cities that the ark also visited but are not shown on the map are just below what city? Ashdod. There, two cities are right down in here. How long was the ark of the Lord in the land of the Philistines? 7 months. So the men of Kiriath Jearim came and took up the ark of the Lord. They brought it to Abinadab's house on the hill and consecrated Eleazar his son to guard the ark of the Lord. The ark remained at Kiriath Jearim a long time, 20 years in all. Whose house did they bring the ark of the covenant to? They brought it to Abinadab's house. Who did they consecrate to guard the ark? Eleazar, his son. Note, Abinadab and Eleazar both have to be from the line of Levi, since there's no judgment on Eleazar by God for taking care of the ark. How long did it stay in Kiriath Jearim? 20 years. Interestingly, it is never taken back to Shiloh, but remains in Kiriath Jearim a minimum of 80 to 100 years until David moves it to Jerusalem. The 20 years may be all the author of this scripture knows of. So now we come to the end of this chapter. 2, the cart stopped by a large rock in the field of Joshua? In the field of Joshua. Let's see. Is that correct? Yes. Field of Joshua. 5, the people of Beth Shemesh were harvesting what when the ark came? Wheat. 6, how many months was the ark in the land of the Philistines? 7. The Philistines were to make 5 golden tumors and 5 golden rats. 1 down, another name for the gift of the Philistines were to send with the ark was a guilt offering. 3, how many cows did they need to pull the cart? 2. 4, how many people of Beth Shemesh were killed? 70. That's the end of this chapter. I hope that you enjoyed it.